Hello, everybody, and welcome to our 14 training. I'm excited, as always, to be on here with you because we have a powerful Zoom scheduled for you guys tonight. I just want to say first, there's so many of you working so hard, ranking up, your teams are ranking up, and it is a joy to be working with a team like you all. You all set the standard for what every company should be. And I'm not biased, I just see how you work, and it just fills my heart with so much joy to see all of you winning. So, tonight, guys, as you saw on our post, we are going to be talking about the power of Fix and Veracel working in unity. And there's nobody on the planet better than to start us off with the Fix than my incredible friend, the first woman crown diamond in our company. Everybody give her a big hand clap because this woman has worked diligently. She works consistent. She pours into every single human in our company. And I'm grateful I get to work along beside her every day. She teaches all of us so much. She actually changed the trajectory of what Fix was really all about. I always want to give her that credit because she doesn't do it herself. But I will tell you, when she started digging deep, she saw so many things that we weren't talking about. And so, because of her, we have changed so much about Fix. And now our company is soaring at a bigger rate than we ever even imagined. So, with that, guys, I want you to give a big hand clap to Alison Beiler, our crown diamond, and our herbalist, and our showwoman for her horses. She is absolutely incredible. So, Allison, there's a few people maybe who don't know you. If you can kind of just give a little bit about yourself and take it over, it's all yours.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Karen. You're such a sweetheart. You are literally one of the best people to bring anybody else on because you give such great accolades. And I'm like, I don't know if I can reach up to that or make up to that because it just makes me feel like I should be up here. And all I feel like is I'm just this little country bumpkin. I'm just this little girl who just saw something in a product that miraculously has changed thousands. I mean, it's so funny to say that, right? Like thousands of people's lives at this point. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Alison Beiler. I am a mother of three. I live out in Charm, Ohio. And as Karen stated, I am an herbalist. I am known as the holistic cowgirl on social media. That was something God gave me years ago. And I'm like, okay, I'll roll with it. I'm a horse girl. And I'm also very much an introvert. So doing stuff like this is always me doing at it scared. Literally, my motto in life is go at it scared because you know what? You live once. And a lot of people say you only, you only die once. And I'm like, no, you live once. Like you get to live a life on purpose. And so for me, when Karen reached out to me in June of 2024, little did she know that I was in a state where I couldn't afford to do anything. Honestly, at the point, God took me through a journey for a reason. I didn't know that it was going to be a part of so many other people's stories. And I didn't realize that my story was going to impact so many different people's lives. But at that moment, I was going to the grocery store with we say a baggie full of coins, but we literally counted it out, like going there for bread and milk. And it's humbling. It's embarrassing still to this day when I go to the grocery store and I hand them my debit card and maybe you watching have been there. You've been at that place in your life where you go there and you're like, "Oh my gosh, is it going to get declined? Is it going to go through? I don't know. I'm sweating, my heart's racing and decline, decline, decline." And so then we made the decision that I'm not going there anymore unless I know exactly what I have and I'm going to calculate it on my phone because that was embarrassing. I think the worst for me is when I had to bring goodies to church and I rushed to the grocery store first thing in the morning on a Sunday morning to grab them and then my card was declined and I had to tell the ladies at church that oh my gosh, I forgot. That was like the worst lie I've ever had to tell because why would I tell them like I can't afford a $20 thing. And it was hard. And so but it was part of the journey. And not that money is everything, but it humbles you really really quick, right? So she reached out to me and I told her about a month and a half for into it that you know what, look, I this sounds very interesting. I never heard of it. What you're sending me is awesome, but I can't afford it. And so I said, but it's interesting because in 2022, God gave me a vision that I was going to help change the trajectory of the world with an herbal tincture. And so at the time, in 22, I was like, where is it? But God was like, no, sister, you're going to have to journey through some stuff. And I didn't know, right? I didn't know. In 23, my husband and I almost got divorced, honestly. Like I literally told him I was done. And so there was a lot of stuff that had to happen in our life. And so I made that commitment to her. I said, look, but I'm gonna make a commitment. I'm gonna save up and I'm gonna get started in October. And Karen, the master prospector that she is, didn't let me set from June until October. She kept dripping on me. And I want you all to pay attention to this. Even though she knew I said I would get started in October, she dripped. And what did she drip? She shared testimony. She shared more stuff. People were doing more videos and more research. And, there was other naturopath doctors sharing more information. So she dripped it on me. She kept sharing. And I didn't respond half the time because I was embarrassed at the state I was in. She just kept going. She just kept going. And sometimes I'm like, wow, that's interesting. And she just kept going. Finally in October, she's like, it's October. Hello. Are we getting started? And I'm like, I will next week. So October the 4th of 2024, I finally hit the button and I bought my enrollment pack. And I'll never forget that day because, it was hard, but I did it. And lo and behold, I started sharing with a couple friends, and those friends started having results. I mean, as an herbalist, when I got this product, I'm like, this is water. Like, there's no way this is going to do anything of what I just said because every herbal tincture I've ever made is pretty rough tasting, right? Like, if a show of hands, have you ever had an herbal tincture? It's like, oh, what? You want me to take what? You want me to take it how many times a day? Listen, herbal products usually you're taking like 6 times a day because it takes a lot for you to get your body to respond to the natural product. It's not a chemical. So for me, taking this once a day, it was like this isn't fitting into my studies. Like this isn't fitting into my, traditional Chinese medicine, all the things that I studied. So taking it and then realizing that this is something huge. And I was like, Karen, this is way more than weight loss. Way more than weight loss. Like we need to teach people to Google visceral fat. When you Google visceral fat, listen, it goes after what causes illness. Every disease in the world comes from very specific things, toxins. And where do toxins come from? The air you breathe, the food you eat, the water you drink, right? If you didn't know that, like the most toxic thing in the world is the air you breathe. Most people look at their food and then they want to look at the ingredients. Listen, the air is more toxic than anything. And so in the water, right? It's in the water. And so if you ever want to watch the movie Dark Waters, write that one down, Dark Waters, and you realize how disgusting water is, right? So for me, I'm like, visceral fat. Why is it important? Because it stores your toxins. That's where all the junk hangs out. And the more toxins you have in the morning, your body, the more inflammation you have in your body. And then your body gives birth to different symptoms. You're going to run to the doctor. The doctor's going to say you have XYZ illness based on the symptoms you're presenting. And then he's going to prescribe you so many different medications based on those symptoms. And because we're all different, we have all different DNA, our symptoms are going to relate to those or correlate to different diseases. So for me, when I saw that it goes after visceral fat, I'm like, hello, this is root cause healing. Now, it's not the product that heals you, it's your body. And when your body gets what it needs and it can, get rid of what it doesn't need based on what you're giving it, your body goes into the state that I call homeostasis. It's a very, very big word. So it's like, it's a balance. So you don't want to go into homeostasis. It's literally putting your body into balance so that it can do the things that it's meant to do to operate. God gave us the best working machines. And if we give it what it needs, it will, in fact, do what it needs to do. And the second component of it is very simple. When you take it and you put it in any beverage, hot or cold, it doesn't matter. You drink it, you swallow it. It's literally activating the bitter receptors in the back of the tongue all the way down your throat into your digestive system. And that activates the largest cranial nerve in our body called the vagus nerve. Now, the only other way you can activate the vagus nerve is by breath work. How many of you ever done like deep meditation and breath work where you're getting yourself into this state? I see a couple hands. It's not easy. It takes really deep practice. It's not easy. It's hard. And guess what? It only stays there for that moment that you're in that breath work. As soon as you're out of it, boom, your body goes out of that activation. Also cold plunging. I don't know about you, but I tried cold plunging and I did feel refreshed. I'll just say I was shivering for a while, but it did wake my body up. We're going after the brown adipose tissue. It's burning all that stuff up. It's giving you energy and it goes after the gunk. But again, it only holds on to that activation for a very short amount of time. And so understanding that component, listen, the vagus nerve activates all 1,100 systems in our body. And we're not going to go through all of them. But if you have something that's triggering an activation of all 1,100 systems, this is not a stimulant. And this is a huge component because most people that get on this product, they're going to notice a couple things. They're sleeping better. How many of you sleep better since being on Fix? Right? It only takes a couple days that you notice that. You have more energy. Why? Because you're sleeping. Your body's able to rest and digest, and so you're able to have a good, energetic day. You have more focus. You have less brain fog. You're able to do more and not have so much scatterbrain going on. Your digestion is better. People that didn't poop are pooping. People that poop too much are not pooping on a more consistent basis. And you cannot put a price tag on just feeling better. Listen, I've heard so many people say, I got my mom back, my dad back, my child back, my grandma, my grandpa, my horse, my dog, my cat, a bird. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And for me, the reason why I fell in love with Fix was because the fact that you cannot buy it anywhere else. There's nothing. Let me repeat that. There's nothing on the market that is what Fix is. MHE3, matured hops extract, 3 bitter acids. That is it, mixed with water. Boom. It's so fun when somebody says, let me see the ingredient list. Sure, here you go. Right? Like you can't deny what's in that product. And the fact that I can give it to everything in my house and not worry about negative side effects, interacting negatively. We don't take medication, but anybody else who does, I'm like, yep, sure, take it. Always be sure to check with your doctor, obviously, if you are on medication, because they're going to go and they're going to probably look up hops. Listen, it is not the hops extract. When Karen reached out to me and she told me about it, I said, if it comes from the hops plant, knowing what I know she has, she should not take it. I knew what she was dealing with. And so she said, but I don't think it's the hops extract, Allison. She goes, I don't know what quite it is, but here's some information. Boom. Again, write that one down. She didn't tell me it did anything. I don't know what it does, but here you go. Look at it. We tend to feel that we need to know the products inside and out, and we do not. People look at me and they're like, well, you're an herbalist, so of course you signed everybody up. No, I didn't tell anybody anything. We have our good friend Dr. Kareem Griffith on here tonight. I shared his video. Once I had that 4-minute video of him talking about what it did for him and how he was such the biggest skeptic, I was like, hello, hallelujah. Here's a microbiologist who was probably, he told me he's never touched a holistic product in his life, y'all. I don't know if you know that about him, but he's never even looked at holistic healing. He has a medical background. His entire family is all medical, never has even fathomed him to look at a holistic healing until he was diagnosed with the illness that he had. And he's like, oh my gosh, I got to do something different because what I was doing ain't working. And so then when Fix came along, his friend who introduced him to it and said, I don't know if he saw the videos, I got to save you. I gotta save you because you can't go down that because that's not a good thing. It's one of those MLM things. No, 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 we ain't gonna do that, sister. But what he found was something that literally helped save his life. And so for me, when you're sharing about a product that is as powerful and as simple, okay, we're talking about simplicity here. And I know we're gonna listen to Nikki and Misti talking about, VeraCell. When we talk about the power of two, I'm gonna wrap this up at the end and tell you why the two together. But listen, simplicity. We don't have to go through ingredient with Fix. Fix gets people in the door and we show them the store. And there's a huge benefit to adding the two together, massive benefit to adding the two together. And so with that, that is why our team has had explosive growth. We've literally showed people different products, not just Fix. We showed them the store. I shared about the fulvic. I shared how your body is made of minerals. You need to take minerals. You can't get them from our food because our soil is depleted, and it helps your cells become more permeable. Then you're taking the greens. Why? You need nutrition. You need the 125 Drive liquid vitamin that literally has the best. I'm not a vitamin person, but liquid, your body can absorb. We talk about Emulin. Listen, Emulin has been a huge saver for me since I had surgery back in November because it really hits inflammation harder than anything I've ever taken in my life. And I take it 3 times a day. Yes, it's known as the sugar chaperone, but it also helps your body function. And it helps boost your immune system to the level where it helps you get through life better. So with that, I'm going to introduce my 2 new friends that I got to meet in Missouri, Nikki and Misti. And I'm loving to hear what they have to bring to the table when they're going to share about VeraCell. So thank you, Karen, for bringing me on. But take it away, Nikki and Misti.
Hi, everyone. Again, we're so
Hi.
Hi. We're grateful to be here again. very privileged to get to share what we know. And thank you so much for all your information about Fix. I'm still soaking up all the information about Fix. It's first time in my life I feel like I'm sleeping. I've had insomnia since I was a little baby. I didn't sleep well. And you can ask Nikki. I would get us in trouble every night telling funny stories because I wasn't going to go to sleep when I was supposed to. So it's really helped my sleep a lot. And so I'm still soaking up all the information about Fix. And I'm loving it so far, though. And everyone that we've put on it is loving it so far, too.
Yeah, she did get us in trouble a lot because she would not go to sleep. But that's just a side note. But Misty, why don't you start off telling them, like from last week to this week, like what's happened and how we've shared and some of the feedback that we've gotten on how we're sharing.
Well, we're growing and we're loving it. I mean, we like y'all know we've been waiting for this for 20 years. 20 years goes by and you don't still have a team to just move over and come in. We've got to go contact them again. But everyone that we have mentioned, we have this product back. I don't think there's been one. I mean, I've literally had people sign me up. If it's what it was before, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in. And had dinner the other night with, I remember, I know I told you all about standing on people's front porches or going to their church that I didn't know. And the family that I told you they were our lifelong friends, we went to dinner the other night, and bless their hearts, because every time I've thought we had this and we didn't have it, they've jumped in. And I'm like, well, have y'all given up on me yet? Are you still believing that we're going to get this product back? And they were just, if this is what we had before, we're in. And of course, it's better than what we had before. So, and they haven't even got their products yet. They ordered that evening. And, but they're our lifelong friends, and their little girl, they had twin girls, and their little girl had very, very, very serious proliferating cells in her body. And we did not get the outcome that we wanted. But I will tell you that most children with that issue have very horrible deaths. And you just can't give them enough morphine to get out of pain. And she had the best 18 months of her entire life and died in her daddy's arms. Mm. With no pain. I don't even think they knew she was at that, that it was that bad at that moment. Um, she just had played and had a good time up until the very last day. So they are very grateful because they know that they didn't have to watch her do that, even though we didn't get the outcome that we wanted. But we're going to keep trying, and they're ready to jump in. And that was 20 some years ago. But
Hey, Misty,
yeah.
tell him what Misty said about who she wanted to contact, and then you said if I knocked on your door.
Oh, well, we have some friends we have a little girl that we know. She's 20 years old, 23 now, and she got in a very, very severe car wreck. And for circumstances it's too much to go into, I'm not the one that can reach out to them. It's a complicated case, and it wasn't my issue, but she needs this desperately. And I'll just say, so y'all know a little bit, some of our close friends uh, did something. Oh, I don't know how much. I mean, it's not secret anymore, but they did something. She did something. She was driving under the influence, and she hurt this little girl really bad. And it's really hard to be on the side of your friends that did that. We've always, advocate for a victim, and we still do. But I've been in the courtroom sitting there supporting my friend, and I don't think I can reach out to her. But I was talking to my other friend, the mother of this little girl that did pass. Her name's Misti also. And I'm like, Misti, we have to get this to her. We have to. And I'm like, I can't do it, but you can. And I said, if I could stand on your front porch with my knees knocking and your husband's a cop, I was standing there going, why does he have to be a cop? Why does he have to be a cop? I said, I think you could do it for her. And she's like, yeah, let's get together. Let's do this. And so we've got a plan in the works. But that's just the friends that we made because we were brave enough to reach out. And even when we were scared to. And yeah, so we've reached out. Is there other stories you were thinking of that you
No,
wanted?
that was it. That was it.
Okay.
Just being brave enough to share the story. And Allison is going to tie this in how these two products work together. because that's so important, because every single day that goes by, my belief in the product, the Fix and the VeraCell, and I'm learning about the others, but this combination right here is the most dynamic thing I've come across in my lifetime. Now, I'm not trying to be an expert on anything, but I do know this Ace Manin product, okay, frontwards and backwards. And I know the one that we have, this VeraCell, is 4 times stronger. And the point I was trying to, get across, we're seeing faster results with less product. And I just want to give you a couple of catches up from my week. So I've made friends with a couple of you guys, and one of you reached out to me, Marlene actually, and she was like, I have this person that has proliferating cells, and I don't know them quite well enough, but what do I say? What do I do? So I'm just going to tell you what I would say. I told her, just like the guy I told you last week, I was driving to his house to deliver this stuff. I didn't know him. I'd never met him face to face. We'd spoken on the phone. But I said, listen, I have a hold of something, and you take this information however you want to take it. But I cannot morally not tell you about this. And I just said a little bit about what I know. How? Every cell in our bodies, you guys get this. So, what Allison just said, the Fix comes in, stimulates that vagus nerve, that turns on your system. So you can see what's going on in there. That's at a cellular level. You can see what's going on. There's confusion, okay, you guys, there's confusion. Last week I told you I would have some slides ready, and I do if I get the opportunity to share just the help, the help sign. But there's confusion going on. And when you start to add what you don't have and to build upon those building blocks, one cell turns on and another one and another one, and they start to recognize. And listen to this, everybody hear this. I just heard this. It came back to me. The more that we're talking about this, I'm remembering little bits and nuggets. But okay, so I talked to you last week about VeraCell is not an immune booster. Okay, it's an immune modulator. It's a communicator. It's your immune system communication. Because some of you, a lot of people out there don't need a booster. They're already have an overactive immune system. They need something to come in and say, whoa, whoa, cut it. Bring in the suppressor cells.
Right.
Calm it down, calm it down.
They'll probably cool
On
them.
the other side, we have people that do need their immune system
Well,
boosted.
maybe I'll feed
Their
one to
cells,
Elise tomorrow.
What?
their
Maybe I'll
cells.
feed one to Elise tomorrow.
Kendall, can you mute them or somebody?
So we do have people that are needing their cells, their immune system boosted up, because it's not recognizing a virus, it's not recognizing the bacteria, it's not recognizing proliferating cells or, things, foreign objects in our body. So this is a communicator. So listen to this. This has just came to me today, and I wrote it down. So I don't, Allison doesn't. A lot of us don't take prescription medicine unless it's absolutely necessary. But let's just say my doctor gives me cholesterol medicine because I have high cholesterol. And I take it and I take it and I take it. And then I decide I want to stop taking it. What happens? My cholesterol goes back up, right? So what was that medicine doing? It was masking the symptom of high cholesterol, right? It was bringing it down as long as I had that. It wasn't correcting anything. Here's what Fix and Veracel do on a continuous basis, right? They're correcting the symptoms. So when I say I take VeraCell for, I'm just going to say 9 months, I'm going to give it 9 months, and I get off my cholesterol medicine, and guess what? My cholesterol doesn't go back up because I've been taking these products that help my system correct itself. Does that make sense? We can go down the list of high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, whatever. I'm not specifically saying one thing. I'm saying this is not a symptom masker. This is a system corrector, which is what we want. So why would we ever want to be without that? With the toxins and the seed oils and the chemicals and the everything going on, this combo right here helps keep our systems, like she said, in homeostasis. And that's where we all want to be without the medication. Anybody else?
That's
Very good.
there you go.
I
I
like
think you
that.
hit the nail right on the head.
I just
I
thought
like
that was
that.
so profound. We're not masking symptoms over here. We're helping correct our whole system.
Mm-hmm.
And these two together, wow. If
And
Misty can sleep, you guys, it's a miracle.
it is. It's a miracle. And another thing that when the one thing that I always get, and you guys are going to get this too, as you share with people, you'll get, it may work for this person that you put it on. And so then their family's interested. And so, well, is it going to work for this? Is it going to work for this? Well, I have this. Is it going to work for this? Always we get the questions. Does it work for this? Does it work for that? Just what Nikki said, it's a system, whole system corrector. So I can't say everything, but almost everything responds positively when your system is working the way that it's supposed to. When your immune system has the ability to communicate the way that God meant for it to. It's not going to be overactive, and it's not going to be underactive. And there's a whole lot of other things that go on. This product stimulates your adult stem cells in your bone marrow. Like, there's so many other things that the product does too. The main one is the communication between the cells. And once that is restored, there's just we just don't know what's going to happen once you get saturated. And the fix with it, we're all still new to all of these products working together. I can just go off of what I know about both product and then my own experience with it. And I can't believe it, because VeraCell did not correct my sleep. Even back when we had the first version, it did not. That wasn't something that it was doing for me to be able to sleep. Oh my gosh, you guys. So they're going to hit different things. Your vagus nerve is so important. I actually, before this, I had a little earpiece that was very expensive that another doctor put me on to stimulate my vagus nerve, because I did have damage to it. And I know that's why I'm also feeling so great. It's not just the VeraCell, it's the vagus nerve calming down, doing what it's supposed to, being not in fight or flight. I know it's just a great blessing. I'm so grateful. It's great. We have
Right.
two great
I
products.
want to say one more thing before we give it back to Allison. Today, I've got my granddaughters and we were playing the song, The Wise Man Built His House Upon the Rock, right?
Mhm.
And it just hit me like a Holy Spirit download. Like, if we can get through to people that if we can build our house, our temple right here on the solid rock foundation of good nutrition, and then we add the fix in and good nervous system, that's building your house upon the rock. The sand is the pharmaceutical that, you guys, do you know what pharmakia means? It means witchcraft. I'm just going to throw it out there. Go look it up. In the old Webster's dictionary,
In an old
pharmakia
dictionary,
means witchcraft. So we don't want
sorcery.
to build on that sand. We want this solid foundation. And we're coming in with the fix and we're coming under with the VeraCell. And then you add some greens, which are phytonutrients we all need, right? And I don't even know. It's just amazing. And I will tell you, like she said, I've never had to buy groceries with coins before, but I have written a check and prayed to God that it went through, back in those days. Like, I hope this one gets before this one and this and that. And I just know that there are people out there praying for miracles in their health, in their finances. And another thing, just in a purpose, I'm an empty nester now. I do have, two grandchildren. It's great and everything, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. I'm a worker. Remember, we talked about I'm the red. What do I want to do? Because reds don't want to work at a 9 to 5 and punch a clock and not make a difference in the world, right? And like Misty said, she was just griping one day that I don't know that anything's going to come true, what God said over us, and we were going to help change the world and, big grandiose. And then Karen called her. That's divine. The fact that MPG has been gifted, that Sam and Linda Castor loved our owners so much that they wanted to work with them is huge. This is all, I feel like, divine. We feel like a family. I'm becoming friends with people that I've never met before. And I'm just going to throw it out there right now while people are planning their summer vacations. Cody, Wyoming is a great place to come for the summer, and I'll be there. Misty will be there. Karen's going to come. Allison's going to come. Come say hi. But you just feel like you're part of something that's bigger than yourself. And that's huge.
Mhm.
I saw a question in here that talked about saturation. It's interesting because somebody asked me that same question earlier today. I mean, I would love to hear your perspective on it. And this is what I want everyone to think about, though. These two amazing women are talking about Ace Mannin. You know, our VeraCell has several other ingredients in it. And so that's what literally is the synergistic effect of the ingredients that's making it as powerful as it is. Yes, Ace Mannin on its own is an amazing, amazing ingredient. But the Ficoidin, I studied Ficoidin for 2 years. And I was blown away that we had a product that had the both together. When I heard that, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. When Greg, our compliance officer, told me, I'm like, what? You put what? Like, really? And so, like, for me, it was like game over because there was a company that literally grew because of Ficoidin. Its only product was a Ficoidin product, and they put it in all of their products, and it caused life-changing effects. So the question, Misty or Nikki, if you know the answer, is saturation. When I answered it, I want to hear what you say to that fact, since you brought it up, Misty.
It's Misty's favorite question to answer. So go ahead, Misty.
I don't know if it's my favorite, but I can't answer it. Saturation is different for everyone. I know that when we had this product 20 years ago, we would know that someone was getting saturated when they began to really feel better. Remember, we told you there's that backup system that your body takes the glucose out of the diet that you're getting and tries to turn that into the other sugars. And that's a process that takes a lot of energy and is an inferior form of it. So one thing that we always could tell that we knew we were getting near the saturation point with somebody was when they just had more energy. I just feel so much better and have more energy. That used to take us anywhere. I don't remember it ever happening before 3 weeks. And sometimes it would be the second month before somebody actually got to, not with this product. People are feeling fantastic within days. So this is a little newer for us too, because it is so much more potent and powerful than what we had before. But I really think, I don't think they're at the saturation stage in a few days, but I'd say 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. I think if they're consistently taking it and taking, at least is what it says to take, or maybe even if they've got something serious, a little more, I think you could very, very easily, most of the time know that you're saturated about 2 weeks in, probably, with this. And that's kind of a guess. That's not a scientific thing. It's just what the feedback we're getting and what the product before. And really, I think it's when you start really feeling good, that you know that things are changing in your body.
So that's interesting that you put it that way, because for me, as an herbalist, when somebody's saturated, that means they have to stop the product because your body's over producing what it needs to be done. So I'm like, no, I wanted to hear how Misty answered it, because I was like, for me, saturation means that you need to cut back and you need to either stop completely and allow your body to go back into a state of regular function and then add it back in. But as an herbalist, that's the level of saturation that I am familiar with. So you're saying that saturation, and for those of you who are wondering, what does saturation mean? And so it means when your body gets enough of a product that it's going to have a miraculous or a very noticeable effect. That's what saturation means. But again, for me as an herbalist, when I hear that somebody's body is saturated, they're just overdone with an herb and they need to cut back. But again, this is a totally different product. It's working a lot different than what an herbal product was. And if you guys don't know, herbs are also somewhat of a Band-Aid. A lot of times when people are on herbals, if they go off of them, sometimes they react like as a Band-Aid as well, but it's a natural Band-Aid. It's not something that's synthetic that your body has to detox from and all the things. So that's the difference between herbs and also natural products. So I'm gonna segue to a lot of these questions. Nikki or Misty, one of you mentioned that, a lot of Misty mentioned it. A lot of people ask, will it help with XYZ illness? Let me give you a very, very blunt answer. When we say the body goes into homeostasis, the body doesn't care what illness the doctor prescribed you with. Let me repeat myself.
Yes.
Your body does not care what your doctor prescribed you with. I'm going to give you a little hint. Did you know that medications were developed before the disease was? I'm not going to go down any more rabbit holes than that, but I'm going to let you know that medications were developed before a specific illness was mentioned. So you can figure that out yourself, right? So with that understanding, when your body goes into the state of balance, when it goes into a state of homeostasis, it doesn't matter what you're dealing with. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's not a matter if this product is going to work for you. It's a matter of when. Why? Because of the mechanical mechanisms of the products, how it works in the human body. And it's been tested on years and years of data with Fix. The MHA3 has got 50 years of data, what it does. And VeraCell, the Eastmanin has also over 30. Ficoidin has very similar. You can go to pubmed.gov, look up Ficoidin and see what it does. And then the fibers, listen, I've had a lot of people tell me, and by raise of hands, how many of you feel fuller since you started VeraCell? How many people are like, I can't finish my plate. I'm not thinking about food. What's going on? It's the fiber. The world is so depleted in fiber. And the reason why you're always hungry is because you're not full. Fiber fills you up, and therefore you're not hungry. You're going to have weight, weight's going to change for you because your body's going to feel fuller longer. You're going to be able to take the food and it's going to be absorbed because you're on the fulvic. So your body's going to be able to absorb the nutrition. And so we're not, so we're not going to go through all the mechanisms of specific illnesses because it's not necessary. Somebody mentioned about something they read in the book about certain digestive issues. I'm going to leave you with this. Like, listen, like Fix helps your body activate things and put things into place. I can tell you story after story after story. Karen can tell you about her digestive issue and how Fix helped her. I can tell you about mine. I can tell you about thousands of people's digestive issues that when they went on Fix, they had relief pretty quickly. And then people go on VeraCell. VeraCell is literally, okay, let me break the name down. VeraCell. We're verifying our cells. So you'll never forget why the name is the way it is, right? So it's going to verify the good cells and help build them up so they can communicate. And it's going to verify the crappy cells and eliminate them from your body. So that your body is going to start building and retrieving more good cells. Every 90 days, your cells replenish. I know I'm throwing a lot of science out there for you, but I want you to understand the power between the two. And if somebody can't afford them, listen, I was there. A lot of people, when they say, I am on a fixed income, I can't, afford XYZ thing, what should I do? That's up to you. I sold a horse that I was dying to raise and train out of a mare that I bred that we got for free. And I got a free breeding tube, but I had to sell her because I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford living. I couldn't afford to clothe my children. So we had to sell so many things in our house. We're up at the point where we couldn't afford anything else to sell because nothing here was of value. So if somebody's telling you they can't afford what we have, that's not your problem. And I'm not saying this out of meanness. I'm saying this out of pure love. That is a mental thing capacity. The world is so used to the government handing things out. They're on, government assist. And I'm not putting you down. Trust me, I was there. I lived on food stamps back when I was a single mother. I did it all. So all I'm telling you is if somebody's going after you and saying, I can't afford this, what should I do? That's not your problem. Your problem is to be the messenger and give them the tools. They have to make the decision whether or not they want to take a hold of it and change their life. It hurts my heart when people say, I'd rather take a pharmaceutical because I get it for free, and they're going to put themselves in the grave because that pharmaceutical is going to wreak havoc on their body, than take a product and maybe stop going to the Starbucks, maybe stop buying all of the, goodness, cable costs freaking hundreds of dollars a month. What do they care about that? No, they have to sit in front of the boob tube all the time and fill their head with crap, but they're not willing to put good things in their body. So stop trying to make decisions for other people because that's a them problem, not a you problem. And so why they need the both products to keep their body in huge, healthy environment is because you need the cell-to-cell communication. Your body needs that boost in itself so that it can get rid of all the junk and fight whatever is out there, because every day we're faced with an army of toxins. When your body is able to release all of that, you all of a sudden, you're glowing. People are like, what's going on? Your face is glowing. Your hair is growing. Listen, I was doing a call earlier today, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the video, my hair was up to here, and now it's down to here. Man, gosh, I just started VeraCell. I mean, there's so many things that have been huge. I put my horse on it. I was like blown away. She was the happiest horse this weekend that I've ever seen since I've got her. And I'm like, praise the Lord for VeraCell. It came at the best time in the world. And so I'm here to tell you, yes, you need both. And it's your decision. And if they can't afford it, you better present them with the MPG opportunity, because if they can't afford a product, they need a side hustle. Hello. Amen to that, right? They mean to be sharing this. They get in, they have a link, then all of a sudden you can have the product for free. How? Share it and get some commission. And then you can use that commission to buy your product. Do you know how many people in our team are literally using their commissions to buy the product, and they're wanting an environment to be involved in because it's a positive environment? There's so much doom and gloom. People are insane who watch what's going on in the world, and it's meant to drag you down into a hole and under a rock where you can't get any breath of air. And now here we are, hearing life-changing stories, people that bring you to your knees crying because they're calling you and they say, you changed my life. How would you feel when somebody calls you and says, you changed my life? I will be ever grateful for Karen Ford for calling me and not giving up on me. And because of her, now I have an organization of 23,000 people. If Randy Tainer didn't say yes to starting Marketplace Global, if Randy and Kathy didn't come together and say, we're going to do this, if they didn't reach out to Jim Denzine, who reached out to Byron Schrag, who got Terry involved, well, all of a sudden, Karen is in here, and here we are blowing it up out of the water. Think about that. You make a difference in your life. And I said it on stage in Missouri. If you were not there, let me just tell you, if you don't think you make a difference, did you ever try to sleep with the mosquito in your room? If you don't know what I mean, growing up in Wisconsin, we were inundated with mosquitoes. You will not sleep until you get that bugger gone out of your room, right? Like, because that bugger is going to make a difference in your life. So all that to be said, you have to understand the power of what we have. This is not just about a paycheck. This is about changing lives. And when you look at VeraCell, getting the cells to communicate on a level, this is what I share to people. Look, your gut is sick. This is coming in. It's building, it's renewing, and it's creating an environment where the body can then thrive. That is why on the bag it says defend, repair, renew. That is all you have to say about the product. If you get into any of the science behind it, you're going to go right over everybody's head. They're going to shut the door in your face and say, I ain't interested. If you're going to be like, hey, you know, your immune system lives in your gut. I have a product that goes after it right away. And boom, we have people having life-changing stories. You have to lead with stories. When people get started on Fix, this is what I say to people. Look, what do you do? I said, oh, I brought an herbal tincture to market. You did too. All y'all did too. And they're like, oh yeah, what does it do? Well, very simple. It helps people sleep. By people say they get sleep, and more energy, better focus. You know, that's what I say. I don't talk about the vagus nerve. I don't talk about it goes after visceral fat, because they don't know what that means. Every single time when I say it helps people sleep, it gives them energy, less brain fog, more focus, better digestion. They just feel better. They're like, oh, sign me up. I know I talk really fast, but when it comes from the heart and from passion, you can see why all of a sudden when I came here, I was like, game over. This is it. This is it. And how often does a company get lightning strike twice? You've got to be kidding me. Nikki said it, divine intervention. Karen literally did the same thing with them as she did with me. If we don't think we have Karen has God on her shoulders, like she's like the angel in everybody's life here. Because somebody tapped her on the shoulder and said, you better reach out to them. So for me, these are game changers. And yes, I take them first thing in the morning, right away, boom, down the hatch. I don't have to think about it the rest of the day. And I go on the rest of my life. And so all that to be said, yes, absolutely take both products together, because without the two together, you're not going to have the synergistic effect of what your body needs to thrive in a homeostasis place. So Karen, thank you so much for having us on. I think I hit every nail on the head. If anybody else has anything to add here, I think Karen left. I don't see her anymore.
Can I say one more thing? Addressing that I can't afford it or this or that. I think we talked before on one of our calls about our words create our environment. Jesus spoke the world into existence, so words are very powerful. So I guess it was about 10 years ago, I read a book, Change Your Mind, Change Your Body, or Change Your Life, whatever the title was. But I decided then and there I was never going to say, I can't afford that anymore, or that's too expensive. So I just decided to say, how can I make more money where I can afford that. How can I change my life, change my thinking, change my way of doing things? Just like Allison just said, what can you do different in your life to get that? And we're all here. I'll throw it out there again. We had some technical glitches this week on going live with two people, but we're here to help you. Karen, Allison, Misty, me, everybody else on this call, whoever introduced you, if they don't know how to do it, they're going to get a hold of somebody that does. We will help people be able to afford this. But let's not ever say again, I can't afford that. Like, I can
Yes.
figure out a way.
Words are creating a reality for sure. And then I just wanted to say one thing, which we kind of probably already know this, but you're here for a reason. You're here in this company with two of products that I've never encountered anything like VeraCell. I think it's a one in a million. And the more I learn about Fix, I think it's right there beside it. And so we've got these two products that are they're lifesavers. They really are. They're miracles in this little bag and the little bottle or little snaps. And y'all are here for a reason. There's a reason why you know about this right now. Who in your sphere is begging God for a miracle? Who is living miserable every single day because of health issues or finances? And again, I want to just address this too. When we were at conference, we didn't see a ton of Manitechers there. We thought we were going to see a lot, but we did see one woman that she got in our company maybe 5 or 6 years before we joined, and she just had this amazing, thriving business. She had like 19 top level people underneath her, and Nikki and I were young. We just got started. We didn't know what we were doing, and we're like, we feel like we're doing it all for everybody, and we don't have leaders yet. And we were like, we need to shadow her. Well, she was there. And she said to us, she doesn't get all sentimental. She's all business. And she said she loves the product, obviously, but she doesn't get sentimental about the divine purpose that God's put on it or, the call. She doesn't even really think about that. She is just business. And she said, since I left the former company and we didn't have what we had before in the last 20 years, she went into becoming a realtor. And she looked at us and she said, "Girls, did you hear about that story out of Florida?" And I had actually heard about it where I don't know, the AI did the whole thing, the whole transaction of selling a house or property or something, and AI did the contract. I mean, they didn't really need a realtor. And she said, "I think we're 18 months to 2 years possibly away from realtors being obsolete because of AI." Guys, this is a no-brainer. I mean, we have the two best products. It's the answer to so many things out there that have either been done to us in our health. Really, yeah, that's that's really true. From our food to our vaccines to illness, all these things that we have to deal with daily. We've got the answers, the two answers with this company. And then also so many people are going to be needing another another source of income. We have what people are sitting right now at home praying for. They're praying for it, and they just need you to open your mouth, to be brave enough to overcome your issues so that you can be out there and be the messenger of hope. So I just want to encourage everybody, overcome. Again, if I can stand on doorsteps he was a police officer. I'm like, he's going to be skeptical. You guys can do it too. And I'm not saying everybody needs to go knock on strangers' doors, but just get brave, be brave. Just ignore that fear and go do it, because people are begging for miracles, and you might be the messenger to bring the answer.
Thank you. Thank you, Misty. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Allison. Guys, let's give them all a hand clap because this was so, so powerful. Thank you all for pouring into us again. Guys, not I'm not biased, but I tell you what, we have the best people we could ever have in this whole entire company. We have over 100,000 people. What you heard tonight was three people that speak from their heart, from experience, with knowledge, with love, with passion. And we are beginning to start something that we've never even seen before. And you heard me say it before, Fix is amazing, but we didn't have the science. Allison was the one who changed the trajectory of everything with Fix. But with this product, we have science, we have stories, we have testimonies, we have it all. And this is your time to win. And I just want to say, I love you guys. Thank you for always showing up. And with that, good night, everyone. We'll see you on the next Zoom.